Hello, this is Yomakrum. The electric vehicle, 5 electric car, Kia's most anticipated vehicle this year, will soon launch in Korea. The interior space, which is about the size of a Sportage or Tucson, is so attractive that it can almost be compared to the Santa Fe or Sorento. The electric vehicle, 3 is too small, and the electric vehicle, 4 is a sedan, so if those don't appeal to you, the electric vehicle, 5 is a great alternative. It's expected to be released around next month, so there's really not much time left until the launch. I'm sure many people have waited a long time for this. The safety of a car, in other words the crash test results, are really important criteria when purchasing a vehicle. Usually, the results are released about 6 months to a year after the vehicle is launched. Isn't there a way to know sooner? So I was looking for global test results, and now I'll share with you the electric vehicle 5 crash test results that were posted on Australasian New Car Assessment Program. Starting with the results you were curious about, it received 5 stars, proving its crash test safety. It's a domestically made vehicle, so I think it's impressive it got such a high score from an overseas crash test agency. If the crash test results had been released domestically first, people might have thought it was all staged. Since we've seen these kinds of reactions before, in terms of credibility, overseas crash tests are probably better. So let's check which areas received high scores and which areas were a bit lacking. First, the most important thing is crash safety. This category is divided into first row adults and second row children. And the third category is external pedestrian safety, and the fourth and final category is accident prevention safety. These 4 areas are evaluated through about 20 detailed subcategories. Of course, the most important aspect to consider here is crash safety. Let's first take a look at the results of the frontal crash test. The vehicle collided with a fixed barrier, and this test evaluates the crash safety of the passengers inside the vehicle. There are dummy mannequins seated in the driver's seat, passenger seat, and the second row. This test focuses on checking the level of injury to the head, neck, chest, upper body, and legs. Electric vehicle Paibu scored 5.21 out of 8 points in the frontal collision safety test. Looking at the results on the driver's side, you can see that the driver's injuries are a bit more severe than the passengers when the barrier collides. It's the yellow part. The second test is the full width test, which is a frontal collision situation. The collision happens at a speed of 50 km/h, and it's a test that takes car-to-car collisions into account. The test result received a high score of 7.73. Reviewing the details, the driver's dummy was well protected, but the child in the second row had chest impact. We'll check this again later. Now, let's review the side impact test results. Bang! The force struck the B pillar directly, hitting the barrier at a high speed of 60 km/h. The second row airbags deployed properly, and in other vehicles the headrest sometimes came off, but visually everything operated within the normal range. The side impact test results show the driver's seat scored well, all marked green. On the other hand, in the case of the crash test conducted at an angle, it received slightly lower scores than this. You can see that the impact was delivered to the chest and waist areas. Crash tests are done at 60 km/h and 32 km/h. In the case of consecutive collisions in a car accident, the initial impact comes from outside, but if both the driver and passenger are present, they can get entangled and collide with each other, leading to a dangerous situation. For this reason, center airbags are becoming standard in the latest vehicles. If you look at the test results, they received a negative score because a situation occurred where the heads collided with each other. I think it's hard to increase vehicle spacing here because of the vehicle class. Unless there's another way, we have to take this into consideration to some extent. And when the front row and second row passengers collide, their necks are thrown backward, causing injuries. All front row seats got a good rating, and the second row got a marginal rating. For your reference, the rating system is as follows. G stands for good, which is the highest rating. A is acceptable, M is marginal, W is weak, and P is poor. Basically, it's a recommendation not to buy the vehicle. The ratings are divided into these 5 levels. In conclusion, the adult crash test score was 35.47 out of 40. It received a total of 88%. Last time, Tasman received 85%, but when it comes to safety, SUVs definitely get higher scores. Then what score did it get for child safety? If you have a family, this part is really important. Since the electric vehicle 5 offers a spacious second row, it's a vehicle that many people will buy for family use. Looking at the results first, it scored 42.14 out of a possible 49 points. That's 86%. In the frontal crash test, both the 6 and 10-year-old children in the second row got a good injury rating, but in the side crash test, the 10-year-old received an acceptable rating, which is marginal. In conclusion, since it received 88% for adult and 86% for child crash safety ratings compared to the lower model, the electric vehicle 3, we can expect that the electric vehicle 5 is a safer vehicle in terms of first row adult safety. Now, only 2 categories remain: external pedestrian safety and accident prevention. Let's quickly review them. External pedestrian safety concerns the safety of pedestrians and cyclists outside the vehicle, not those inside. It tests how well external pedestrians are protected in the event of a collision, assuming situations where the vehicle might hit them. Especially, the most important thing is how well the head is protected when a pedestrian and a vehicle collide. Next, they focus on testing how well the legs can be protected. The ability to protect the head received a good evaluation. Also, the ability to protect the femur and lower body received a good evaluation. On the other hand, the ability to protect the pelvis received a slightly lower score. Green in the image shows items with good evaluations, while yellow and red mark those with lower scores, respectively. And another part you need to look at is the emergency braking system. Automatic emergency braking. It tests 3 categories: pedestrians, bicycles, and pedestrians at night. Most of the scores in this category were high. Looking at the overall score in the external pedestrian safety test, the first item, the reverse test, was not performed because it is not standard. Forward, meaning the front side. In this test, it received a good rating in all areas. However, in the test where an adult approaches from the side, it received a marginal rating. In conclusion, it scored above average for pedestrian safety compared to similar vehicles. Now let's review the final category, accident prevention safety. To tell you the results, it scored 14.79 out of a possible 18 points, achieving 82%. It received a high score in the accident prevention safety category. This category includes driver assistance systems such as blind spot detection, rear cross-traffic collision avoidance, intelligent speed limiters, and emergency steering systems. It received high scores in most areas. So to conclude about the crash test safety of the electric vehicle 5, it received 5 stars, which means it's a car with proven safety. In the future, results from Domestic Korea New Car Assessment Program, including Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, are also expected to come out after the release. I expect that it probably won't be until after next summer. I'll also compare and let you know if there are any differences. If you found this video helpful, please encourage me by giving it a like. And if you want to automatically receive the next video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you.